us with everything like the tech stuff. So he's behind the scenes, okay? So right now, supposedly we are live, but this is just recording, okay? It's just recording. So, but we will start with your image at the beginning. Steven, ¿vas a empezar con la imagen de ella al principio? Steven, no te escucho. ¿Vas a empezar con la imagen de ella al principio? ¿O cómo vas a empezar? Rey, no te escucho. Sí, te escucho. No, no te escucho, no te escucho.
Lo tengo un poquito tostadito. ¿No me escuchan?
Ah, bueno.
Ya.
Sí, ahí sí ya te escucho. ¿Vas a empezar con la imagen de ella o cómo vamos a empezar?
Tengo un poquito tostadito el computador.
Entonces.
No, ya puse de todas maneras a grabar.
Bueno, pero entonces va a empezar con... Ah, bueno, listo. Listo. Hágale pues. Bueno, entonces voy a empezar ya. Okay. Okay, so we are going to start like this, okay? I'm going to do the 3, 2, 1 and we start, okay?
Yes.
Okay. Steven, voy a empezar en 3, 2, 1, ¿listo? ¿Me dice cuándo ya? Listo. 3, 2, 1. Hello guys, hola a todos, ¿cómo están? Hello everybody, I'm super happy to be here. My name is María Isabel Ángel. Mi nombre es María Isabel Ángel de Colombia. I am super happy to have this amazing guest, which I love and admire. Her name is Aziza. She's from the States, but she's right now living in Canada. And I am a huge fan. So welcome, Aziza. How are you?
Hola. I'm doing very well. I'm happy to be here with you.
Okay. It has been a while. When was the last time that we saw each other? It was like more than 10 years.
It was 10 or 11 years, and it doesn't feel like it's this long.
No. Because we have been connected. I follow you always, so no. And we spent an amazing time here in Colombia. I have the best memories. Do you have the best memories?
Yes, I do. I think you would be surprised how much I remember.
Yeah.
I remember the whole time I was there. It was a very special time, yes.
Yeah. Okay. So let's start because we have many questions, and all the girls, they have many questions. So let's start from the beginning. Okay. How did you start studying Oriental dance? Why you fell in love with Oriental dance? Tell us a little bit about that.
Okay. Well, my journey with Oriental dance, I would say, goes way back before I discovered Oriental dance. I took ballet. I started ballet when I was 3, and I studied classical ballet until I was 18 years old. And then I thought it was time to get serious. It's time to go to school. It's time to focus on other things. I didn't think that I would be able to be a dancer. So I went to school and I was very miserable. I was sad because dance was not part of my life. So it happens that a friend of mine, I think this happens to many people, a friend of mine wanted to try an Oriental dance class, and she asked me to come with her. And I went not knowing anything about the dance and fell in love. I was hooked. I think for a lot of people, this happens the same. I was obsessed. So the first thing that drew me in was the music and the costumes, but the more I learned about the cultures it was from, and the more my eyes were opened up to all how rich it was, I just became obsessed. That's how I got started. And I started in the US, in Oregon. I'm American, but I live in Canada now. And yeah, that's how I got started.
So when did you get started? It was in the 80s, in the 90s, when?
It was in the 80s.
Okay.
Yeah.
Super. Okay, so right now we see many girls dancing or wanting to be like dancers, and they are copying a lot of teachers, amazing teachers of the world, Egyptian, Russians, Americans. So what do you think about this new trend, about all this strength and all this motivation that these girls have in Oriental dance, but especially because they want to copy these artists? What do you think about this?
Well, I think it's natural, and especially in this day and age, because everybody is on the internet and you have access to everybody. It wasn't like this when I first started. It was very difficult to get any information and see other dancers. And now it's like every dancer you have access to. And all of the dancers, especially the young ones coming up, are really trying to be noticed, and so it's natural for them to copy the dancers who are getting the most attention. Yes, and I understand this. But what you need to understand is that the reason these dancers have such a presence is because they are authentic to themselves. There is something different about them. So if you're trying to copy somebody who is getting a lot of attention, you will always just be a copy of something. So I think it's wonderful to be influenced by dancers. It's wonderful to look at how a dancer presents themselves and figure out what it is that captures you. And then take that essence and go into the studio and say, how do I have a voice that makes the same feeling, right?
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. That was my next question. If you have like tips for these girls, because you have a unique style. It's like when I see you dancing, I know that is you, you know? It's like I know. If I see you like far away, I know it's you. If I see your back, I know it's you. You have a very unique style. How did you develop this style? And also the tips besides this tip that you just gave us. Which other tips can we give the girls to develop their own styles?
Right. Well, I have to say, starting out with a lot of different dance forms, I am a product of my whole dance life. I also feel that it's important that you stay curious and that you stay always developing your style, to not get complacent. And once you start performing and you're a professional, if you don't stop growing, you're not going to stop evolving what your voice is when you're on stage. I feel like one of the best tips, I've been doing this a long time, I probably have a lot of tips, but what I like to do, even now when I'm practicing, is I like to use my critical eye when I'm in the studio. I like to use filming myself and watching it back and having that critical eye about, does it look the way I want it to look? Does it look the way I think it feels like in my body when I see it on video? And if I don't, then I do it again. This is where I'm critical. But when I'm on stage, I let that critical eye go. When you're on stage, the work that you do in the studio in order to develop your technique and develop your style and to see, to really pinpoint what looks good on your body and what you can exaggerate. But when I go on stage, I don't hold myself to that ideal of a perfect choreography. It's important for me that when you're on stage, you're in the moment and you're allowing the dance that you developed in the studio to be present and alive and dance and show your joy and your love of dance. If you're only thinking about doing a choreography perfect, then you're not in the moment for being with the audience. And that is the magic part. And if you're not authentic to yourself, that you're enjoying your movement and all the work you've done, then the audience isn't going to feel that. They're going to feel that you're trying to impress them and show them what, show off, instead of just sharing the dance and your love of the dance in the moment.
And this is exactly what we see a lot in the stage and in social media right now. People and dancers just trying to show off and not dancing from their souls, not dancing because they really, really love the music that they are hearing or the movements that they are doing. Is because it's just image. This is what I've been feeling, and I have been seeing every time that I see the feed, that I scroll down. This is what I get. Do you get this also?
Yes, I think that there has been a really big change since I've started dancing, since it's been so long. Moving away from longer formats and dancing to live music and really the connection to the music, to short TikTok videos where you're trying to get everybody's attention really quickly. And so the movements become very extreme and very exaggerated. and forced, as opposed to a connection of being soft and really connected to the music and letting something develop and build. Yes. But I have hope. I have hope because I feel that we always go, and I've seen this in how long I've been dancing, from one extreme to another. And I see a real push and interest and curiosity in like golden era style dancing. There's a lot of things that are being offered right now because people are curious about going from the opposite of being very athletic and pushing to have hope. I think it's going to go the other way.
Exactly. Yes. It's like right now, yes, we feel this, that girls are very interested in going to the roots, connected to other or to folk dances or to the golden age or doing tributes to Fifi Abdo or Najo Fouad or Soher Saki. So yes, we have been seeing this. So I have a question. It's like, how can you keep your dance evolving, and also connected with the new trends without you losing your essence, your own style, but also being in touch with the trends and what is going on in the world right now?
I feel that, okay, how do I say this? I feel it's important to always know what the trends are and to see and observe them. Like for myself, like I go on TikTok. I want to see what's happening. And even now when I'm developing, I'm curious. Yes. It's to stay curious and to stay in love with the dance and to be able to try things. Like for me, it might not be something that I am interested, but this is my passion and my, it's important for me to know what's going on, right? I think anytime you're going to be teaching, it's important to know. Like I had a couple years ago when TikTok first started happening, there are young dancers who are representing Oriental dance online, names that I haven't heard of, and they have millions of followers. And these people are influencing a whole generation of dancers, and they're bringing in other people, other dancers, other young dancers into our world, our industry. Some of them are interested in the quick, flashy, what you see really quick online, or it's just the same like way back how many years ago when Shakira, this is the new thing, yes? So for me, watching these, I want to know who is influencing the next generation of dancers. It's important for me to know about that if I'm going to continue teaching. So I take what I like, I go into the studio and I say, how can I incorporate this into Aziza? Like in a drum solo, I can do some movement that I see in a video that's new and fresh and exciting. But I'm going to stay with the basics too, because that's what the dance is. And if I am excited about what the basics of the dance is, then I can translate that to my students. And they're going to want to also, just a shimmy done really well is enough. You don't have to do so many pops and layers. But if I'm going to do something, I want to try something that's new that people haven't seen before, or that's fresh, that either comes from me or that comes from something I've seen. Part of my research is, watching what's happening and what people are really attracted to online.
Exactly. Okay, see, talking about your students and the workshops that you give, I remember the time that you came to Colombia to our festival, and I remember that you have your notebook, you have everything prepared for the workshops, because, it's not often that I see this, when I invite artists, they come, they have the choreography in their minds, and that's it, or the technique they are going to teach. But I remember that you have your notebook, you had it, and you were like, okay, my goal in the class is this, I'm going to do this, like these exercises, this is the idea, I want this feeling, like it was something deeper. So I really love that. How do you prepare your workshops, your classes? Because I know it's not just technique. You work feelings, you work soul, How do you prepare these amazing classes that you give?
Well, I have been super blessed to be able to travel a lot and give a lot of workshops. It is important to me to leave something, not just a choreography, but I feel it's important that people get ideas on how to enhance their own quality of movement in their own style. This is going to be more valuable than me trying to give a choreography. And even when I'm teaching a choreography, it's more important to have the student understand how it looks different, not just moves, but how the quality of movement is enhanced by different ways. And right. Do you understand what I'm saying?
Yes, I understand. You know why? Because, for example, I don't remember the choreography that you gave so many years ago, but I remember that what you say. Sometimes you dance for the sky, for the heaven, for something that is like subtle, and sometimes you dance to the present, you know, and you connect with the people that you have right now to the present, and sometimes you dance connected to the past with the nostalgia, with the inside, with the feeling. So I don't remember the choreography, but I remember this, and this stayed with me till now. Okay, 12 years after, and I still remember what you say, what you talked. So it is amazing because you really left something, and it's not just a choreography, because the choreography is already lost in my mind, but you left something that they are like tools that I can use in my daily life when I'm teaching, or my students can use it in their daily life when they're dancing and practicing. So that for me was like, I learned a lot just from that, because people perhaps they could think, okay, but what about the choreography? The choreography is the most important thing, but they don't know that what you were saying and the whys of the exercises were the main dish, you know, were the most important thing, not the choreography, not the sequence, but the whys.
Yes. Well, for me, it's the most important is that the student, whoever the student is in front of me, that they have their voice and they're able to say what they want to say with their own movement, but in the most elevated way. How do you do that? Like so many times, if you're like you were talking about trying to copy other dancers, usually they're copying the choreography, the movement. But really, what captures your attention is their quality of movement, how they're moving from one space to another. It's not just the movement, it's how are you getting there, right? And that's what is going to make it's you dancing. It's not you dancing a great choreography. It's Aziza dancing, and nobody's going to dance like Aziza. One is not better than another, right? It's you dancing, and you have to say who you are with every movement. So yeah, okay.
Exactly.
I'm glad it stuck with you. I get very excited about it.
Yeah. No, and for me, you know, that was like, how can I say? It was a game changer, you know? When I with you, I understood that it was not just sequences and just choreographies. It was something deeper. And it was trying to leave your mark and like how you transform the lives of your students. And you know, it's like I've been trying to do this in all my festivals. When I organize this, I tell my artists, please, you just leave something, transform our dance, not just choreography, something else, you know, because and this, when I saw that with you, I was like, this is it. And I know that my students, if you ask them, they remember what I remember, and even more, you know, what you left, not the choreography, but the essence and the why. I love it. Okay, so let's talk now about how do you create your amazing choreographies and you stage presence, and what you do in the stage. Do you get like the idea and the inspiration because of a song, or because an emotion perhaps, or how do you develop the choreographies that you are going to present in the stage, or even if you are improvising, what's the how can I say, the origin, you know, how do you develop this content for the stage?
I'm mostly, I would say 90% of the time, I'm influenced by the music. It's the music that it says something to me. That's the very first is usually the music. When I was traveling very, very heavily, sometimes there were obligations and I had to come up with things. And so sometimes I wanted to push myself to explore new areas. So I would maybe come up with, oh, you know what, I'm going to try a folkloric style. I'm going to do it in my way. And then it would put me into doing research about a certain style. So sometimes it has to do with a particular genre or a particular style of dance that I want to grow from. But I would say most of the time it has to do with the music is the first thing. And the way that I develop, for me, I can't just be, okay, I have a song and this is the color costume I'm going to wear, and now I'm going to put my choreography together. And I don't work this way. I have to really understand how I feel and what I want to say with the particular song that I have. There has to be meaning behind the movement, because if the movement doesn't have meaning, you're not going to capture your audience. So I journal about it. I have my journal right here. I have so many of these now. And I will sit and I will write out what it is, the feeling that I want to end up with. It's the same thing when I'm teaching workshops. Like, it isn't always a choreography. Sometimes it's another topic. I work backwards. What do I want to say? What do I want to leave the audience with? What do I want to leave the students with? And then I work backwards on how to get there to say it. So for me, in a performance, I call it the spine of the story. Like, what is it? And it doesn't have to be literal, right? As long as it has meaning to me, then it should move the audience, and they can put their own meaning to what the movement is. But it starts with the music. If it has lyrics, I have to know what it means, and I have to come up with my own story to identify with what the lyrics say. Yes?
Exactly.
Yes.
Exactly. That is super what you say, you know, not just the movement, but what's the meaning, the feeling, the why, what you want to show with your dance, like which emotions do you want to leave in your audience, you know? You want to evoke nostalgia or sadness or joy, or what feelings do you want to evoke in the audience, and that, of course, that are going to be in your body, in your soul, so you can poof, you know, spread it. So that is super nice. Super nice. Yes, because when I see you dancing, it's like I see I know this is like, it's different for everybody, you know, because it's like art, you know. When you see a painting, sometimes people will feel sad, sometimes people will feel inspired, sometimes people will be just like in another mindset. But with your dance is the same. I see and I get your message. Is my own message, because, you know, it's like everybody gets a different message, but I get a message, you know, because with some dancers it's just like, yes, it's very nice, the movement was very clean and it was like, oh my god, she's very flexible or whatever, but this is something, you know. But I connect with the meanings, the messages, the emotion. I connect with this, and when I see you dancing, I get your message, and I know that many people get a different message, but they get something, and they get inspired by this message that you're sending. So I love see you dancing every time. Okay, so now let's talk a little bit about your career, because you have been dancing and you have been traveling around the world for many, many, many years. See, so we know it's not easy to get to the stage that you are right now, which is one of the top artists of the entire world. How did you get there, and what do you think are the keys for your huge success and for a lasting career in this dance?
Well, I feel like, okay, I started first in the US, in Oregon. This is where I started. And I was very fortunate to have almost 15 years before I started touring, 15 years of working in clubs with live music, and pretty much just in my area. So I really had the experience of working with live music night after night, long shows, sometimes 45 minutes in a show with live music, and multiple shows a night. And this experience, I think, is rare now. There is not so much of this happening anymore. So I'm lucky to have started with this experience in my career. Then I made a specific decision. I had to decide if I was going to continue being a club dancer and dancing at weddings and parties and clubs and staying out all night. I was getting, I had to make a decision. Like, I wanted to teach. I love teaching. But in order to continue, I had to decide. I had to make my name outside of my space, my little area. And at that time, competitions were just starting. So I had entered a couple of competitions, and I was lucky that I won them. And this was at the very beginning of the internet. So the fact is that I made the decision to take my career in hand and decide. I made the decision. I worked very hard in these particular competitions. And then I also had luck. The timing, because of the internet, was just beginning. There wasn't a lot to find online. And the fact that when I performed and when I was teaching, it was resonating with people. I think the intersection of all these things, it was luck, it was being prepared. It was timing, luck, and preparation all at the same time. And that was in the very early 2000s. And then I started being asked, and everywhere that I would go, other people would see me, and then I was being asked more places. And when it first started happening, I'm telling you, I couldn't believe that it was happening, right? I couldn't believe that they knew who I was in different parts of the world. I'm still amazed that I'm still doing it, honestly. Yes, after all this time. But when I first started being asked, it was like I had to say yes to absolutely everything because I didn't know how long it would last. And then it kept going and growing and growing. So I feel really, really lucky. I'm so blessed that I've had the experience that I've had and that it continues, right? And I'm telling you, this last year has been so, like, for everybody, I think it's been very strange to go from touring year-round, never being home more than 2 weeks for almost 17 years, and now staying home. Oh, no airport, no traveling, no, all of these things has just stopped, and has been a shift. Yes, it's been amazing.
Yeah, it has been amazing. It has been for me, and because I have my school here in Colombia, last year was very difficult, and the economy is not good here in Latin America. Specifically, I'm talking about Colombia is not good, but last year was an eye opener in the sense that we could evolve. We could adapt. We could adapt to what was new, and our students were receptive to this. Some students, yes, they didn't continue, but some students stayed with us and supported the schools, so we didn't have to close. And so for me, was like, you can see who is really supporting you, and no matter what happens, they are always going to be there. And also, it was challenging for us as entrepreneurs, because we have to adapt. Never in my life I thought, okay, maybe sometimes, yes, I thought, okay, I should start teaching online, but I didn't know, like, how, like, Zoom or which platform, or just like a website, whatever. We didn't know how to. So last year was like, okay, you have to do it or you have to do it. We were forced to adapt and to just like change our entire world. We had to change. So I think is very interesting. Yes, it was very hard, and it's still very hard right now, but this is the challenge that we have. So we have to take just try to make it work. With what we have right now, just make it work.
Yes.
Okay, so now let's talk about all these trips that you have made around the world, and you see a lot of dancers, okay, in the stage and also in the workshops. So how do you see yes, the evolution of the dance? How do you see that the dance have changed from year after year after year, or from country to country? How do you see this evolution in the dance?
Well, I see, because I've been doing it for so long, that the dance becomes very popular in different regions, in different parts of the world. And I have also seen what other trends, there are a lot of trends that happen. There's different folkloric styles that all of a sudden become popular that weren't before. I've seen this happen. I think that, like we were speaking before, the biggest impact that I've seen in my dance career is the internet, first of all. And then after this, there was a big change in different styles, become different interpretations of the dance from different areas become popular. Like at first it was the American style with the belly dance superstars. That made a big difference in the belly dance world and the belly dance industry. And then in Latin America became really big with the dancers coming from Argentina. That made a huge impact. And then the Eastern European dancers have also made a big impact. So I think that there's different dance styles and different interpretations that come in. What I'm seeing now is with what we talked about, shorter versions and people on the internet only getting a couple seconds in order to have their voice. This is where everybody sees the dance. That's a new trend. And one that I am also really excited about is, after seeing the style from Latin America or Eastern European dancers or American style, is people becoming much more interested in the dancers of the culture and learning from the dancers from Turkey and from Egypt and from Morocco. And I think this is a really important trend that I find really exciting and really important, I think, for our dance.
Exactly. Yes, right now, and especially, for example, last year, with because everything was online, we had the opportunity to train with Moroccan artists, Iraqi artists, Lebanese artists. That sometimes is super difficult, specifically from Latin America. Travel to the Middle East is very expensive. It's a far, like, super huge trip, but it's very, very expensive. So yes, having this opportunity to study directly, a folk dance with for example, Romani dance with Reyhan Susuz, or with Nawarra, the folk dances of Morocco. For me, that was a blessing last year. And yes, I have seen that a lot of people are very interested in, how can I say, in study something specific, and just different stuff, not the same Egyptian folk dances or traditional dances, but something else. So that is very good. And yes, I remember when the belly dance superstars and all the American superstars is like, Aziza, I saw your video, like, till I burned it, like, because I saw it so many times that it was destroyed at the end. It was a VHS.
Yeah, that's how old I am. Oh my God.
Oh my God. I saw that. I still remember one of the drum solos that you dance, the Sahara Said drum solo. I still remember that choreography. I still remember the movements. And yes, we were very influenced by the American style and by the American superstars that we had. So yes, here in Latin America, it was very, very big, that influence. And then we got these amazing artists from Argentina, Amir Taleb, Saida, that they influence a lot all Latin America and now the world. Now, right now, after that, I guess we saw the Egyptian and all that style, very strong style. And then we are moving to the Ukrainian, to the Russian style, to many other styles. So yes, the industry has changed a lot. So do you want to talk about this also?
Yes, I agree with all of this. But like I said, like you said, the opportunity to have direct to the dancers of origin, I think that this is important. And I'm really excited about this. And I'm really excited that the younger generation of dancers are curious about this and hungry about learning really from the countries of origin. Yeah, I think this is wonderful.
Exactly. And also, right now is not just being a dancer in the stage, but is also teaching in the workshops, is also organizing events. Like, yes, the industry has changed a lot. Before, something, and right now is very focused also in social media, in the content of social media. I guess right now that is a huge, huge impact, and maybe we can talk about this. Do you see that the impact is positive, or maybe it's not that positive, what we see in social media right now? Because because we have been dancing many, many years, we have seen, I don't know, the oldies, the golden age style, and then Najo Fuad, Fifi Abdo, and then Randa, and then Dina, and all these amazing artists of the past. But perhaps the younger generations, what they know is just what is trendy right now in TikTok or in Instagram or whatever. They don't know anything else. So what do you think is the impact? And do you like what you see in social media right now? Or do you think perhaps we should stop and just rethink and maybe present the dance in another way? What do you think?
Okay, I have a couple of different ideas that pop into my head about this. I feel that one trend, you were asking about trends in the industry, and one of the trends that I see that I like, and that might be a little bit painful, is that like before, there were only really big workshops where you would bring the dancers from far away, like your wonderful festival, these big festivals. And that is something that the dancers look forward to all year, and they plan for all year, and they're going to see dancers that they don't have access to anymore. And now with this whole everybody going online, I feel that the whole world has opened up to this online platform. And I think that dancers, everybody shifted to go online. All the teachers shifted to go online. And now you do have direct access to these. And I think it's going to change things. I think that people are going to be much more discerning about who they take from and the quality of their presentation online. And they're going to be a little more discerning and critical on where they're going to spend money on the big festivals. Do you understand what I mean? It's like people are their eyes are opened up to so many new possibilities, and they're going to start figuring it out exactly what they want because everything is available now. Do you understand?
Yes.
Yeah.
It is a big change.
Yes, it is a big change. And yes, but for myself, I started teaching online 3 years ago. I wanted something because I was traveling so much, and I had been traveling for so much. And one of the things that I really missed is that coming to a city and only staying there for a weekend and trying to leave something of meaning in such a short amount of time, and then I leave and I go to my next city. Do you understand? And I wanted to find a way to continue being connected to the students that I meet that might want to continue studying with me, but they're halfway across the world. So I had started up online classes 3 years ago, but I was only teaching when I wasn't on tour, which was hardly ever. I'd come home and have to relearn how to do all the technology because I wasn't doing it enough. Yes. It's like learning how to use the remote again after you go on tour. And yeah, exactly. So I had started, and I'm lucky that I had started that a while ago, but it was really with the idea of being able to stay in contact with the students who wanted to continue to study with me. So when this happened and everything shifted, and now we aren't having festivals, at least they're barely starting, maybe they're not happening here in North America. And now everybody is like longing to come together and be together. And everybody is like, when are we going to be able to go back to this, coming together and celebrating dance? But I feel that it's going to be a real hybrid. It's really going to be a mixture of people being very discerning about who they take from online. They're going to look for the quality of the technology and the quality of the presentation for online. And they're also going to be very particular about, you know, I want to come together, but I can take from anybody online. So you better have something more than just really quick, something elevated when you do a festival. Like, I'm seeing a trend of more intensive festivals. Do you understand? Maybe longer and smaller groups, or something that offers more than just a whole bunch of very short topic workshops that don't go deep, where you don't, you know, you're just learning a choreography. Like, people are hungry for more.
Exactly. Yeah, I agree. You know, because yeah, some people, they really, and I also enjoy these like deep festivals or deep events or deep like you go and you study for a week a specific topic or with a specific teacher. Yes, you go deep in that technique. So I love them all. I love going to a festival, for example, in the Egyptian festivals, that you meet teachers from around the world, and you can take like little information, or not little, but information from this and this and this and this, and you get inspired. But
Yes.
also, it's amazing when you go deep and you just train deeply a style, or with a teacher, or maybe some teachers, but for a longer period of time. So I love both scenarios. Okay, so
I do too.
final question, or
Yes.
final segment. This is something that the girls, they really loved. So if you can give us some tips and advices for students, for teachers, and for artists. Okay, so let's begin. Which tips and advices you can give to the students?
For students, okay. For students, be hungry and curious to go beyond just movements and combinations and choreographies. Really, I feel that the more you can learn about the cultures that you are interested in, the more you learn about their lifestyle, and you learn about, the more you learn, the more curious you are about going beyond just movement, the richer your experience is going to be. I feel that starting out early, it's important to have a teacher that gives you a good foundation, but then also a teacher that pushes you to also experiment and find your own style. Yes.
Yes.
Like a teacher that is invested in your ultimate potential. Yes. Let's see, what else? If you want to grow, if you want to change and grow, you have to get uncomfortable. Yes, that's how you really grow. For more advanced students, being brave and pushing yourself, getting feedback from teachers, putting yourself in a place where you can have somebody give you good critical feedback, that helps you grow. Watching yourself on videotape, that helps you grow. Watching your own dance with compassion and honesty, this is how you grow. You know how I think everybody's like this. When you first watch yourself on video, you're like, I don't want to watch it. I never want to look. Oh God, that's terrible. But realize that that is the tool that is really going to help you grow. You have to be able to look and see what works, so you do more of it, appreciate your dance and the strengths that you have, and being compassionate about what you need to work on, and get help and good feedback. That's what I say for students.
Exactly. So what about teachers? Which tips can you give us?
For teachers, okay, I think always being curious and hungry to continue growing so that you have more to give to your students. I think for a lot of teachers, they become a little fatigued from coming up with content for everyone else all the time. And if you don't feed yourself, then you're not going to have something to offer to your students. So I think that's really important, to give yourself time to create for yourself as well, and to take classes to get ideas. I take classes. I love taking beginning classes. I love to be reminded what it feels like to try someone else's style, because I think a lot of times when you're teaching, you get bored with your own style. And so you end up not giving the student the opportunity to really sit with your own movement to get it enough. Am I making myself clear?
Yes.
I like taking a class to remind myself how great it feels to repeat it over and over and over again, and I'm not bored. Do you understand what I mean?
Yes.
Like, it feels so good as a student to really get the movement, and I'm not going to be bored if I get to do it over and over again. And sometimes we forget that, and we worry that what we're doing is not interesting enough to the student. So taking classes reminds you what it's like to be a student and how great it feels like to do something so often that you start to feel it and feel good in it. That feels great.
Exactly.
I think that's important to be a student when you're a teacher. Yes.
Totally, I agree. It's like, for example, myself, talking about myself, the most, how can I say, the moment that I am most like super, super happy is in a classroom. Even if I am a student, great. If I am a teacher, great. But that moment of just like giving or receiving, is amazing. It's amazing just to be with the teacher, just like sharing and challenging myself. I love it. And I love to learn. And also because it's like, this will never end. You perhaps you think that you know how to do a hip drop or something like this, but every dancer put something different, and if you observe and if you watch very, very in detail, you can see that it's different, this and this and this, or just the music, how they interpret the music, so I never get tired of taking classes, never. I am super happy taking all the classes. So yes, and also talking about, because sometimes the teachers, they feel that no, I'm not going to take a basic class again, because they think that, or we think that we are too advanced to take a basic class, but I have done it. I have done it. I have taken basic classes in other parts of the world, and I love it. Why? Because I learn how the other teacher is teaching the same movements that I'm teaching, but in a different way. So I learn how he teaches, how she explained or he explained the basic movements, So I love it. I love it. So, and which advice, the last question, which advice can you give to performers, to artists, to the people that wants to be in the stage?
For artists, I think that all of the things that we spoke about at the beginning about finding your own voice, I think that's really important, being authentic. I think one of the things that I do regularly when I was touring, back when I was touring, and even now when I'm doing online shows, I remind myself before I go on stage, it's important for me to reconnect with why I am in love with the dance. Sometimes when you're performing, you get too caught up in, is the audience going to like me? Or if you're performing in clubs and restaurants, or is the promoter going to be happy with me? Or you get caught up, am I going to remember my choreography? And you just kind of get lost in connecting with who you are and why you're doing it and the fact that you love to do it. And for me, it always goes back to love. Always goes back to, I want to show the audience how much I love to dance and how excited I am. I try to reconnect when I first discovered this dance. And I just have to sit with myself before I go on stage and try to let go of obligations and expectations. Because if you're pushing yourself to get admiration from the audience or to do a perfect choreography, then you're not in the moment. So it goes back to that, being present and in the moment for those people who are watching right there, because that moment is never going to happen again. That magic live moment on stage is never going to happen again. And giving the weight and the respect to that moment is going to resonate with the people who are there. They are going to feel that they had an experience rather than just saw a show or a dance.
Amazing. I agree completely. And yes, I didn't think about this before, that this is it. This is the only time You know, we cannot repeat this anymore. So it's very interesting what you say, because also when I am going to be in the stage or even in my class, I always take 3 seconds just to think, this is for love. Esto es por amor. This is for love. That's it. This is it. You know, this is with my heart, nothing else. Even if it is a class, I do this every day before I enter to a classroom. And I try, and I also think, but for the classes, I do think this. I'm going to give everything, because I don't know if the girls, I'm going to see them the next week. You know, I'm going to give everything that I can. And also, what's the feeling that I want them to live with, you know, if I don't see them again? You know, how I want them to remember me if I don't see them again. You know, so I really apply this to my classes, but I didn't think about this for the stage, you know, just like
Yeah.
Being very present, being in the moment. I love that advice. Thank you so much. Okay, so now, if you can talk to us about the new projects, what are you working right now? So if you can invite us and tell us what is going on in your life right now.
Yes. So like everybody, I am here in my home studio in Montreal. I'm in Montreal, Canada. And my husband is very happy after 13 years, 12 years of being married. This is the first time that he has me home all the time. So this is very nice. And being home all of this time, I have focused, like many people, on doing my online classes. What I have that is new is I have just, part of my lockdown project is a whole new website for my online classes. So the phase 1 is done. I have, you know how we were talking about putting myself out there when I first started doing competitions, and then I started traveling and teaching and challenging myself. So now I'm elevating the way that I present my online classes. I've invested in new technology, and I built a new platform and a new website. So I teach live group classes. And then I also I've had to take a break with my dream camps that I do every year. These are in person, not online. And so part of the platform with my new online, my new website is that I have small mentorship groups where it is a smaller group of people, like we talked about, going deep and being able to really focus on a smaller group of people over a period of time. So this new mentorship group that I'm starting is a year-long project, and it's done all online because we can. And I bring in guest instructors. You get private lessons. We do a group lesson. I have content of technique, and it's just a small group of us. So mentorship groups, I have, okay, hold on a second.
What is going on?
Well, you know, my door is right here. So the mailman is putting all the mail through.
Okay.
It's loud. I'm sorry.
Okay.
Okay.
This was not live.
Okay. I'm going to back up.
Yeah.
Okay, so I have mentorship programs. I have a group mentorship program, and I also have project developments where you meet with me and we work on a specific project online, one-on-one live. And I have my live classes, group classes that are 3 times a week. And yeah, I'm super happy with my new website and these projects that I'm available to do now online. And I get to like really see progress. This is what I missed when I was traveling so much and doing workshops. Is I wanted to see what happens after I give my little workshop and how does it affect people. And I like to see how people grow and change. So the mentorship groups are really cool. I'm looking forward to also traveling, but I will be traveling less. That's what's coming up next. I love to travel, but I'm having, I feel so good about being able to connect with people online that I want to be able to focus on that and then travel a little bit less. That's what's coming up.
Exactly. No, that is super interesting. And I think right now, because perhaps the online before, people thought that it was cold, that you were not really connected with the teacher. But right now, being online is not that at all, you know, because you can be with the other teacher, like asking question. You will get feedback, you know. It's not just like, okay, I will watch the videos and that's it, and nobody is going to give me feedback. No, now online means that we are really, really connected. And what you say, that you see the progress and the process and the evolution, and you see the path and the faces that the student is having. So that is super, super good.
I love it too. Like when I'm teaching, I have a big screen TV and I can see into everybody's living room, and I know their dogs and their cats and their kids show me their toys, and I love this.
Yeah.
Also, I want to tell you about a project that I did with Orientalissimo Academy. I don't know if I told you about this, but they had me as a guest master instructor, and I did a series of veil technique class, and they are all in Spanish.
Amazing. Okay,
Yes.
so there you go. We have another one. Super, super fantastic in Spanish, girls. So if you are hearing this, you know that in Orientalissimo, we can find her videos also, her courses. Amazing.
Yes. I'm really proud of it, actually. It's the first time that I've had instructional videos that are in Spanish. So I really wanted to tell you about this. And I love the music and the choreography that I taught, veil choreography too. I would like you to check it out. I hope you do, because
I will.
It's
I
very
will.
special. It's very moving to me, that music. So
I will, of course I will. I know. Thank you so much, Aziza. It was a pleasure to have you here. So I know that we can talk for hours, because we can talk just like and talk and talk and talk, because this is like in the world of Oriental dance and dance in general, we can discuss about so many things that are happening right now. But I know that you are busy, and I know that the people that are connected are busy also. So this was 1 hour with you, just enjoying and getting inspired by your words. So thank you so much for this time.
I can't believe it was an hour. I feel like we could just keep talking. I miss you.
I miss you too. Yeah. We had fun.
Yes, we did. What I remember, I'm going to give you highlights and then we can say goodbye really quick. I remember you cooking for me in your house with the plantains. Yes.
See, I didn't remember that. Yes, true.
Yes. And I remember one of the stories that I tell even now is how I came early. I was there like 3 days early, and you had set up with the PR, and we had to go for newspaper and TV and radio, and it was both of us, Angie and I from Venezuela, and you, and there was a big storm. Do you remember this?
No, I don't remember the storm.
There was a big storm, and the window broke, and we were at the TV station, and okay, I remember that, and I remember that the theater was just packed. There was like 1,200 people in the theater because we had done so much of the interviews and G and I go up to a spa, and I had a chocolate treatment, and I remember sitting outside and looking at the view from, it was so beautiful. That I have so many good memories about that. I really do.
I see. No, I didn't remember that part of the storm. I remember the news. I remember that because, oh my God, that is a lot of work, but it works. Here in Colombia, it works. And because it's not just an event that is for Oriental dancers, it's for the whole community, for the whole city. So we really need that. And the theater, every year we have done it full.
That is a story that I tell a lot of other promoters. I'm like, I was in Colombia and there was 1,200 people in the audience.
Yeah.
I'm like, if they can do it, you should do. And I tell them exactly what you do. Yeah. Exactly. I was really impressed at how much you opened up the dance to everybody, not just the dancers. It's not
exactly. And and the festival right now, after 13 years of festivals, you know, it's like now it's something that the city expects, you know, every year, because it's not just the show. Now we put like cooking classes, Arab language classes. I have lectures from I don't know, for example, Egyptology, or the history of the Arabs, or the Arabs in Colombia. So
Yes.
yeah, and we have also free classes, basic classes for women that cannot afford. So we work with the women in the jail. We work with the women that suffer from violence inside the home. So we work with many organizations. So this is like, we have this social labor, you know, this social, how can I say, aspect of the festival also. Yeah. So this,
I am really, really impressed. And I know why I like you so much. You
Yeah.
have good integrity and you are a good ambassador for the dance.
no, you know, and I'm trying to just with these interviews, my main goal is also to just talk, you know, because it's not just seeing dance. It's not, because my girls, the only thing that they are doing is this, you know. And really, I don't like what I'm seeing in the feeds. I don't like what I see, you know. So with this, I force my students just to watch this and to just like listen and get inspired and learn, you know, and not just like depend on social media and depend on the feeds and the short 1 minute videos, you know. So I
Yeah.
just want to talk and talk and talk, because I think we have to, you know, and because I am a little bit concerned of where the dance is going, you know. I'm a little bit concerned.
I understand, but I also think that you understand also that the only influence you have is in your group. You know, you are the example for your students.
True.
And yes, yeah. Like, I can't expect someone else to have the same idea or ideology that I do, but I know that I can let people know how I feel about the dance and what I think is important and what I think is special about this dance. That's the best you can do, is influence those that you are around. Yeah.
Exactly. 100%, 100%. Okay, so now we say goodbye.
No.
I
Yes,
know.
thank you so much for having me. It was really great to talk with you.
It was amazing. Okay, so I'm going to count 3, 2, 1 and we say goodbye, okay? Okay, Steven, voy a contar 3, 2, 1 y este sí sería el final y yo después te explico, okay? 3, 2, 1. So Aziza, it was amazing to have you here. So if you want to say the last words for the girls that are listening right now.
Oh, I wish that I could dance with you in person, but thank you so much for listening to this. And I hope, inshallah, we will be able to dance together in person again sometime. I hope.
Of course. So thank you, Aziza, for this amazing time that we spent together. Thank you. Thanks all. How can I say? Thank to all the people that was connected to this live and to this interview. Thank you so much for watching. Thank you, Steven. Steven is our producer that is right now behind the scenes. He is helping us with this live. So thank you. So Aziza, kisses, abrazos, besos. We love you. So I hope that we will see each other very soon.
I hope so too.
Okay,
I hope
bye-bye.
so too. Bye.
And we finish. Done. Steven, listo.